Good evening and welcome to this evening's meeting of the Port Jervis City School District Board of Education. I'd like a motion and a second to resume regular session, please. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, at this time, would everyone please stand for the pledge, followed by a moment of silence. Molly, how about you lead us in the pledge tonight?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, before we start the presentations, I'd just like to remind everyone that it is acceptable when you're doing the speaking to please remove your mask because the public really can't hear, and a lot of times we struggle to hear as well. And here I am not following my own instruction. Okay, so student reps. Hello?
Okay, it's right. Hi everyone. We have a few events for the high school that are coming up. So the senior class and student council are holding their strawberry fundraiser from today until February 18th. The batches should be coming in by mid-March. Half of a flat is $16 and a full is $28, and the checks can be written out to either or. Also, the class of 2023 is selling out Gertrude Hawk candy bars, which is $2 a candy bar, and they'll be sold until supplies run out. The students will be sent home with a box of 2 COVID kit tests tomorrow, the 2nd. Friday the 4th, second quarter report cards will be available to view via School Tool. And Thursday the 10th, Not One More, the sophomore information night is being held. This is a program to promote safe driving.
Senior scholarship packets have been sent out in the mail. Scholarship workshops will be held remotely 2:30 to 3:30 weekly throughout the month of February. Any students interested can reference the daily morning announcements for specific dates. Seniors have their cap and gown and senior cap and gown and diploma order forms in their emails. This form should be completed ASAP and returned to Ms. Shields and have $10 returned to Ms. Shields in the office by March 1st. Winter sports are currently well underway and soon coming to an end. Boys basketball will have their senior night on February 9th, and girls basketball will have theirs on February 12th. February 21st to the 25th, school will be off due to President's Week.
Thank you, lady. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to skip on the agenda a little bit. We're going to go to administrative reports. Kristen?
We do have to have a motion and a second to approve the board meeting agenda.
Oh, I'm sorry. May I have a motion and a second to approve the board agenda, please?
I'll second.
Bill Harris, Brian Dewey, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Mr. Riddell?
Thank you very much, and thank you to our student reps. Great reports. I will open with an expression of gratitude. So I'll express my gratitude to our school counselors, as well as all that work in that realm of our school district. School Counselor Appreciation Week is coming up, and I know the board feels the same way that I do, that our social workers, psychologists, school counselors, and the support staff in those offices do amazing work with compassion, skill, and a genuine care for all of our students. And this work has certainly been amplified throughout the past 2 years, and I just want to take this opportunity to publicly thank them. Molly did mention about the COVID test, so just to explain that, we did receive another shipment of COVID tests, so we are doing the test to stay protocol. We are sending them home when students have symptoms, but we have a supply, so we made the decision that we would make sure that every student was able to have a test kit, basically 2 tests in each one of the kits. And those will be sent home tomorrow from each of our buildings. And parents had an opportunity and continue to have an opportunity to complete the survey online if they did not want their child to receive a COVID test. So that's really just an explanation of that. And then completely unrelated, I want to provide an overview of the capital project as it stands right now. There is an item on this evening's agenda, and that is in regards to rejecting some of the bids. And we did meet to discuss that because it is contractual. There are some contracts that are applicable to this entire process. So that was the one of the topics of our executive session, and the board will be acting on that in the regard that we feel is the best fit at this time. So what I wanted to explain at this point, we did the bidding. As everyone knows that is aware of what's happening with supply chains and also the costs of supplies, the bids came in many of the realms of our project much higher than was originally budgeted. And as you recall, this vote, the referendum, went out actually the week that schools closed in March of 2020. And so therefore the budget was actually developed pre-COVID. And so basically what we did was over the past several days is between our building administrators, central administration, and also working with our financial advisors, construction manager, architects, we really dissected this entire process, and then also some of the things that fundamentally we held tremendous value to. The original plan is what we hold tremendous value to. So that was one of the items that we were saying we are not abandoning that portion of it. How can we get creative? And we've spent hours going through several ideas and seeing what could come to fruition and what we would be comfortable coming to the Board of Education with for that ultimate decision to be made. We have developed what I feel is I would consider it a very good plan, an exceptional plan, given the parameters that we are presented with at this time. And we are going to do some additional fact-finding and ultimately have a meeting with our architect and construction manager next Tuesday evening to ideally make those final decisions for the next steps. But I wanted to share this information as it stands right now because I want to keep everyone updated, because as this spring progresses, again, the meetings will continue, the ideas and really problem solving is necessary, but things could move very quickly as far as decisions that the Board of Education will ultimately have to make. So I just wanted to share that. So I apologize for the long, circuitous explanation. It was completely off the cuff, but I just wanted to provide that overview. And that's my report for this evening. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Rydell. Ms. Walkwood?
To thank our administrators in advance tonight before their presentation. I was supposed to come after you guys, and thank you for the hard work you did putting the presentations together. You'll see an amazing program that they're in charge of tonight. So I'm looking forward to your presentation. Thank you. Just a reminder, we have our professional learning committee meeting this week at 3:30 tomorrow at the high school to prepare for our March 7th conference day. And I just want to thank our school counselors in preparation for next week's National School Counselor Week. And finally, congratulations to all of our retirees who are on the agenda tonight.
Mr. Tan?
Thank you. So I presented the initial budget January 11th, and there will be a budget workshop in 2 weeks from tonight on the 15th of February. Just want to let everybody know the first state aid runs are in, and the overall state aid for our district is $4.5 million increase, which is good. I've spent the last 2 weeks meeting with several stakeholders regarding budgetary needs. I'm extremely impressed with the detail and the organization and the energy that has put into this preparation when meeting with me, and I do appreciate that. It was an enlightening discussion about the future progress and the vision for the district, and I'm proud to be part of this whole team. The discussions are nice because they're going from how do we handle this COVID to how can we improve instruction, which is a great field that we're digging ourselves out of this and starting to look ahead. So thank you for that.
Thanks, Mr. Tim. Okay, now we're on to our building presentations.
All right. Good evening, everybody. I just want to thank the board for having us have the opportunity to showcase all of the wonderful things that are happening in our buildings. Hopefully, I'm sure you're going to see some really great things from every building tonight. Before I begin, I want to just make a note and thank PJAP and the administrators that are in PJAP, and just kind of share with you guys that there was 11 of us, I think 11, 12, and it's really it's a joy to work with this group from all the buildings. You know, you never know what you're going to get, you know, working with different administrators in the different buildings, and it's, I enjoy working with every single one of the administrators in the building. And I just want to share that with you, that I think we have a very good, cohesive team, and you'll see that tonight. So again, I just wanted to share that just for the purpose of sharing, because I think it is important. I also wanted to, before I begin, I want to make sure that I recognize my team at ASK that I have with me tonight. I did bring an entourage. You guys don't want to hear from me. You've seen me enough, but I think, you know, it's important that you see the folks that we have working in the building. So with me tonight is Sadie Roosevelt and Matt Gennaro, my two assistant principals. We have Jackie Abdoyan, Marissa Carlton, Eric Hartman, and Dawn Jones that will be speaking tonight on our presentation. All right, so I just wanted to thank them. They took some time out of their personal life, their evening, to be here tonight. So again, I just wanted to make sure that I thank them. So they're ready to go. All right, we have a time limit, so I'm going to get going here, okay? Our presentation tonight focuses on 3 different areas: academics, behavior, and the social and emotional wellness. This was our focus on school recovery, and so the theme of our presentation is really going to be about these 3 things, and we're going to show you how we kind of tackle these 3 things. I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Roosevelt. She's going to talk a little bit about MTSS and the process that we've done so far with that, a little bit about IXL, and then Mr. Gennaro and Ms. Abdoyan will talk about Teachers College. So again, I'm going to turn it over to them, and appreciate the time that you're giving us tonight. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you for giving us the time to speak tonight. The first part of our focus on school recovery really lies within MTSS, or multi-tiered system of supports. This encompasses RTI. It's a piece of this framework, so it hasn't gone anywhere. I know you've heard us speak about that before. So now we're just really looking at it from like an umbrella type of view. So RTI is certainly still there, a part of this framework. We're also looking at behavior, social, emotional wellness, and attendance under that umbrella as well. So this comprehensive and proactive approach allows us to identify students struggling in any of these areas and intervene early and give them access to whatever needs they have, whatever we need to address. We're able to do that looking at the whole child. So that's really given us some direction as far as students who have the learning gaps. And as far as IXL goes, it really goes hand in hand with MTSS as part of how we're supporting students. So IXL itself is not necessarily new to teachers, but we're finding that diagnostic or analytic piece is a little newer to our teachers. So we're navigating through that through different types of professional development that we've received, whether it be virtual, whether it be on our conference days or in our buildings. We've received great professional development through that. And having the information really allows us to learn more about the skills and strengths that are strengths and skills that need improvement for our students. So it's really helping us out in that MTSS department as well. And this year we're working with Emery Rothel from PLC Associates on this charge, along with our building team for MTSS, which is made up of district administration, building administrators, our RTI coordinators at our building, our school psychologist, and our school counselor have all been very active in that professional development. So we're so fortunate to have such a great team kind of building this ship for us. So it's great. And our work is focused with Emory on clarity, consistency, and building our own capacity under all the tenets that MTSS incorporates. So that's been an ongoing piece of work that we'll continue with, but so far we're really happy with the progress that we're making.
Hello, everybody. So I'll be focusing in on the Teachers College and Reading and Writing Project. We're happy to say that our staff developers are now in our buildings, and that this will help us identify and focus on student fun. First time. To help teachers identify the students' fundamental struggles. Our hopes with this to identify the struggles to allow us to close the skill gap. So we have a lot of children who are struggling, so we're hoping the TC is coming in to help close that gap. To really focus in on those skills, I'd like to introduce our 4th grade teacher, Ms. Adian, to show some of her progress that she has in the classroom.
Sorry.
As a culmination of our fictional narrative writing unit, the 4th grade celebrated with a book tasting. The students became authors and worked on developing and writing a fictional story. In the process, they were able to develop characters and setting, as well as problems and solutions. They worked on adding details to make their stories more enjoyable and interesting to the reader. Once their stories were complete, they celebrated with a book tasting. Each teacher transformed their classroom into a cafe. As students entered each cafe, they were able to move from table to table to read, share, and enjoy each other's stories. As they read their peers' stories, the students wrote compliments or things they enjoyed about what they had read. In the end, student authors were excited and proud to read what their peers had written about their work. The 4th grade teachers couldn't be more proud of their students' perseverance and success.
Okay, thank you. This next part of our presentation is going to talk about school recovery and the behavior aspect. So as you guys know, 10 years ago, we started a program called Doing Things the Right Way. It's ASK, Doing Things the Right Way, and it's kind of still caught on and it's still relevant today. So as you can see, this one picture, I don't know if I can shoot it down here. Oh, it's not going on the screen. So the picture on the left here is some different items that the students can win, if you will, or receive based on getting caught doing things the right way throughout the building. And so every day we announce different students that get caught doing things the right way on the announcements, and then on Fridays, their names go in a hat, and then we pick out about 8 to 10 people, 8 to 10 students, and we call them down at the end of the day. And then we have different items that they can select: t-shirts, hats, scarves, sling bags. But the really hot item is the mesh shorts that are the black shorts that are on the top there. Those seem to be really the best sellers. I think Ms. Jones would attest to that. Right, Ms. Jones? Yeah, okay, thank you, Ms. Jones. But actually the hats are the big items. I don't know why, but the kids love the hats. So it's really cool when you see the kids, like, they come down, we make a real big deal out of it because they work so hard. And when they get to pick, one of these items, they throw it right on, and it's great to see them walking through the hallways. So again, that's just a way for us to kind of incentivize positive behavior and good behavior in the building. And like I said, it's been going on for 10 years. I'm really proud of it because we continue it on, and it's still going pretty strong. I want to just add, the next piece of this is Special Area Student of the Month, and this is really from Mr. Hartman kind of spearheaded this as he's kind of taken on the role of the GLC for the special areas, and he kind of recruited the special area teachers to take this on, and I'm going to let him talk a little bit more about it because it's again just another way for us to praise and reward students for doing the right thing. So I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Hartman.
So last year, as a group, the special areas met throughout the year to talk about, how do we develop a program where we can kind of showcase what the kids are doing in the electives at the elementary school. So during our PLC time on the Wednesday mornings, we as a department discussed ways we could recognize students who shine in special areas. As a department, we decided we were going to select 2 students per grade that are doing a great job in the electives. The qualifying thing that they have to do to be even just nominated is they have to be following the Port Project 5. So that's being kind, being ready, being honest, being prepared, and being your best. We vote on the kids, and then once we select the kids, they get a certificate. Their picture goes on the biggest bulletin board in the school, and they get announced over the loudspeaker every month. It works when the 6th graders are kind of excited to win because they're too cool for school. They're ready for the middle school. So when they're excited to win these things, you got a pretty cool program, and the kids really enjoy it. And we're starting to get more of a participation with the electives now that we're back in school, and they really love being able to talk about it with their parents, with their friends, with their teachers, like what they're doing in our classes, and they get to be promoted out in the school. Thank you for your time.
So the last focus that we wanted to share with you tonight is our focus on social emotional wellness. So ways that you can see that at ASK are we formed the Character Education Committee that is run by myself and by Ms. Carlton, who is our Character Education Coordinator at ASK. And we really just use that committee to address and support social emotional wellness at our building. And also we've continued the Spirit Committee and our theme days, which is a way to boost morale and just celebrate all fun things that we really want to bring into the school and just make sure our students have that experience as well. So those 2 committees are really supported, and we're really glad we're able to start them and keep them going. And also our lessons in the classrooms by our social worker, Lisa Bonjovi, and our school counselor, Dawn Jones, who's here tonight, that will speak a little bit more about their work in the classroom. So to speak a little bit more about the Character Education Committee and the Spirit Committee, Ms. Carlton is here with us tonight. And before she comes up to share more about these committees, I really just wanted to thank her. She brings so much energy and creativity and dedication to the committees, and it really helps them be successful and has really made them what they are. So it's a lot of behind the scenes work, and I just really appreciate her so much for all she does in those 2 areas. So she'll speak more to you about the Character Education Committee and what that looks like, and also what's included on our Spirit Committee, followed by Mrs. Jones, who's here tonight, that will speak more about the types of lessons that her and Mrs. Bonjovi do in the classrooms.
She's gonna have me crying before I get up here. Thank you, Sadie. So this year, I took over the Character Education Committee. We kind of revamped it, and we wanted the kids to be involved. And how could we get the kids to push out the character education? So as a committee, we discussed that we would have the 6th grade teachers choose 6th grade students, a couple each month, that are representing that character trait of the month. We have interactive monthly bulletin boards that go along with our character education trait. We also adopted a community organization, so I'm not sure if you can see that. In November, we did gratitude. So we adopted the Port Jervis Dearborn Humane Society, and students and staff brought in supplies, and then we donated them to they were very thankful. The other thing that we do is getting caught doing things the right way, like Mr. Cancredi talked about. We are really pushing to keep doing things the right way, and a lot of times the teachers are nominating students that are doing things the right way for that character trait of the month. For example, last month, January, was perseverance. So many times students were caught doing things the right way by showing perseverance, whether it be in class during a lesson or on its test. The other thing that we're doing with character education is the celebration of the character trait at the end of the month and the beginning of the month. So in the beginning of the month, the 6th graders go in, they present, they create their own presentation that they present to every class in ASK. And then at the end of the month, we celebrate the character trait by either a dress-up day or challenging our students to do that character trait. So for example, last month was perseverance. So on Monday, to end out the month, they dressed as the future career that they would like to show perseverance, or their favorite college or a college they would like to go to. So we have 2 guest speakers that aren't here today. Leah Fox and Mila Skella are 2 6th graders. They're in Mrs. Riley's class, and they presented on perseverance. So I just videotaped them for a little bit. Can you press play? That's fine. It was hard to hear. So those are 2 6th graders that they presented to a 2nd grade class. And I know it was hard to hear, but they actually took the role as the teacher. They were asking them questions. I don't know if you could hear Mila, but Mila was like, let's sound out this word. It's a big word. So they sounded out perseverance together. The 6th graders really love being chosen and working with the classmate to do these presentations. They like going into their old classrooms and seeing their teachers or their siblings in another class. So it's been a great hit. This month is kindness, so this week they have been presenting on kindness. Oh, I got another one. There we go. So the Spirit Committee is still active, and we come up with all different theme days, theme weeks to celebrate the students that are coming to school and to boost building morale. So we've had days such as celebrating the 50th day, they dressed in their 50s attire, twin day. We had class day where they had to wear a specific color for what grade they were in. Some exciting events that are happening next week happens to be the 100th day of school. So we're celebrating the 100th day of school with a week long of dress-up days. Then we have Read Across America week at the end of the month and beginning of March. So we'll have more dress-up days that go along with Read Across America. And then one of the things we started 3 years ago, I know COVID throws off the time. We started a New York State test pep rally to get the students excited for the New York State test. So all of the younger grades that aren't in a testing grade write inspirational notes to the upper grades. They leave notes on their locker. They make motivational signs. We actually were able to have a pep rally, and we had music, dancing. We have a theme for each year. So we're excited to bring that back this year. And now is for Mrs. Jones. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'll be quick because Mr. Murad is starting to play the music, so our time is going over. So Mrs. Bon Jovi and I go into the classrooms starting in September, and we just talk about to the kids about kindness and respect. We start with kindergarten, and kindergarten through third grade, we do something called bucket filling. And that's the idea that everybody has an invisible bucket, and it's and their bucket is full when they are happy and people are kind to them, and their bucket gets dipped if something someone says something mean or does something that's unkind with them. And you can fill your bucket by being kind to other people because it makes you feel good. So it's all centered around kindness and respect of each other, and that's through kindergarten through third. And we also, in their language, go over the Dignity for All Students Act. So they understand that everybody should be treated with kindness and respect, no matter what their differences are. And we also do a social emotional piece, and we talk about empathy and compassion. And this is all geared toward their age group from kindergarten to third. In fourth grade, we make the jump from bucket filling to bully prevention. And we're in those kindergarten through third, we go in 3 times to each classrooms throughout for 3 weeks. And then fourth grade, we do 4 weeks, and then 5th and 6th, we go back to 3. But in fourth grade, we make the jump to bully prevention. And again, we talked about the Dignity for All Students Act in a little bit more in depth where they can understand it. And we go over how hurtful and destructive bullying can be, and what we can do about it, and the things that kids may be feeling. So we also teach about empathy and compassion to them, and we also go over the all the social emotional. Every group that we do through every morning, we start off with a breathing exercise to help kids when they're in a high emotional state, to calm them down. So they have all these different breathing exercises as tools to help them through the day if they're having any difficulties. We also touch on safety, stranger safety, everything. It takes us the entire year to get through our school from kindergarten to 6th grade. It takes up, we use that every morning to go through them. We have groups every day, 2 or 3 groups a day, and that's how we lay out our character ed program. And I'll tell you this, you never know how something's working until you don't use it, and then you come back and have a chance to use it. And when we were away from school for COVID, and these kids weren't able to sit, and we weren't able to discuss these things with them, and they weren't able to really listen to some of their classmates give examples of how they felt and stuff, when we were away from that for a year and then came back and we saw some things, it was really eye-opening to us to see that, yes, it is working. We are doing something when we're in a classroom and we're talking about these things, and they're getting it and they're listening. And kids make mistakes, that's who they are, but it's really something that, they soak in. And we always tell them that this is not a ASK learning. This is a life learning, that we want them to be good people with good character. And if they just follow the things that they're learning in these character ed groups, then that's what they're going to turn out to be. So we love doing it. We're really happy that we get a chance to go in the classroom and see all the kids, and not just a certain amount that we see like in counseling and stuff. And it just lets the kids get to know us when they have some issues and problems that they need help with, and we're familiar to them. So Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you guys. I appreciate your time. And again, I want to thank my staff that was here tonight. I'm now going to turn it over to HBE and Ms. Mesnick and Mr. Gennaro. So thanks again.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be up here speaking about HBE with my assistant principal, Matt Gennaro. So let's get started. I think we're going to start with our character education committee. And to start this, I just want to throw out a shout out to Mrs. Rapp. This is the committee that she developed at HBE, I think 12 years ago. A lot of hard work went into those early years, and I think you'll be proud to see that everything that we're continuing continues from the committee who started. So, character education. Every year we start with a theme. This year our theme is LEGO, standing for Love Every Growth Opportunity. We're trying to really instill with the children that there's not anything that you can't do. We put the word yet on the end. It's I can't do that yet. Really focusing on that growth mindset. And the theme we incorporate into all aspects of the school day. So our Lego theme, the students are earning Lego bricks for showing good habits. The habits being Stephen Covey's 7 habits. Each month the students are introduced to a new habit and given a challenge to display that habit in school. They try to earn Lego bricks for displaying the good habits, and the bricks are read aloud on the morning announcements. And you'll see throughout the whole presentation that Lego theme trickles through all aspects. We were able to bring back our monthly school-wide assemblies. The staff really felt strongly about bringing back assemblies and being able to gather together. So to make sure we're following our guidelines for social distancing, we hosted assemblies outside in September, October, and November on the blacktop. And then once the weather got colder and we couldn't all gather in the same space, we've been holding virtual assemblies. The students are visited by our Lego characters that you'll see up in the pictures. They come during the assemblies and they introduce the students to a new habit, and the Lego characters try to earn their Lego habit badge, which goes on the back of their costumes. One of our challenges this year was a Stuff the Bus. This was a challenge we issued to the students in November to support the habit, put first things first. We collected food for a local food pantry here in Port Jervis. Each grade level collected different items to stuff the bus. Quality Bus donated the bus that came up that we were able to stuff, and they also collected at their office and drove up a van filled with donations to support our Stuff the Bus too. So a big thank you to Quality for that support. Every year our PTA buys shirts for the entire building. The shirts are a representation of the theme, and they buy the shirts for the students and the staff. This year we also added on our bus drivers to have the shirts. I think it's really important that the students come in from the minute they get on the bus until they leave and they see everybody wearing the same shirt. We're that professional learning community, and everyone is a part of our school and helping them learn and grow, from the bus driver in the morning to the last person waving to them on the bus loop at the end of the day. We're telling the kids everyone is awesome and part of the same team. Next, I'll talk about our morning programs. The programs we have in the morning, we have 2 before school. One is 0 Hour PE. That's John Foley and Nikki Hartman. They're back running that program. The students are dropped off before school. They're with John and Nikki from 7:20 to 8:20. Then they work with one of our aides, Mrs. Papalo, from 8:20 to 8:50. And she works with the students on homework or on their Chromebooks. It's a very, very popular program. It's filled to the max waiting list. It's a very popular. So because it was so popular, we opened another AM program, which is Yoga for Kids. We have a 6th grade teacher, Mrs. Dawson, who is a certified yoga instructor. So she does yoga with the students, same format, 7:20 to 8:20. And then they go with another one of our aides, Mrs. Sampson, from 8:20 to 8:50. And we have about 16 students in that program. Continuing on with our Teachers College Reading and Writing Project, we're doing the reading and writing units, K to 6, and we're also doing the phonics units, K to 2. Our staff meets with the staff developers. We have 5 meeting days a year. This year, 4 of those meetings are going to be held in person, and 1 of them was virtual. We held the virtual one this month because it's snow and you never know what you're going to get. So it's easier to schedule the virtual day during the winter time. And the conversations that come out of these meetings is so incredible. The program is always changing. It's always evolving. Each session unlocks something new to focus on or try, and it's always changing. Each unit is ended with a celebration. The grade levels decide how they're going to celebrate the end of the unit. We've had so many different types of celebrations. We had a debate, research argument debates in one grade level. We had a grade level publish a newspaper. There's published writing that they invite other classes to come in and give feedback on the writing. Recently we had the end of our word detective unit. So Officer Vicarello came and gave the students their graduation from their word detective unit. So a lot of great stuff happening with Teachers College. Talk about special areas.
Hello again. To talk about special areas, I'm going to talk about each subject, definitely. For physical education, we were talking about the Loop, which is supports health and sports and fitness. It's also a collaboration with the curriculum. Sorry about that. And it connects math, ELA, and geography. With art, we have a new teacher, Miss Kilgore, and she actually has been posting different celebrations for different children that to feature the artists of the month, every 2 weeks. So she basically posts a picture of the children, all their work, and then she celebrates for 2 weeks, and then she switches it up for another child. And she's also posted a lot of different art museum basically around the building, and it basically celebrates the artists of which the kids drew, and she posts them in different areas. Thank you. So another special area is the music department. I actually sat in one of those classes with Adriana, and they play music, different instruments, and they can engage playing through the Chromebook. It's like a Chromebook music lab. So basically they put information up on the board, children tap to that beat based on their instrument, and they switch it up throughout the lesson. Another thing that they've been doing in there is that is incorporating different, like the Lego theme throughout making different notes and different things like that that relate to the music, but using the Lego figures. And then the next subject is library. This is Mrs. Green's area. She's been involved in a lot of STEM activities within the library. She's also incorporated the Lego theme as well. Students designed Legos that were related to a book setting, and she's also been using different activities to basically work on. So like if you see that picture in the top corner, she used blocks for children to make kind of chopped turkey for Thanksgiving. That was their theme they kind of focused on at that time. And then the last thing is that we have the Super Book Bowl, so we're going to see who wins that. So it's connection to the Super Bowl, obviously. Our next one is Theme Days. One part in World Kindness Week, or World Kindness Day, I'm sorry, was that we did Chalk the Walk, which is basically they just wrote a positive message on the concrete outside, and the children had an opportunity to read some positive notes that other students have written. In December, we did did Holiday Theme Week, which is Holiday Dress to Best, Pajama Day, Ugly Sweater Day. And on February, we'll be celebrating Kindness Week, which we've started currently. And I'll turn it back over to Emily.
Right, so another exciting welcome back after COVID is we welcome back our HB Coffee Shop. So our HB Coffee Shop is open on Friday mornings, and it's run by our K2 classroom. And we had a ribbon cutting ceremony at the beginning of the year. People can order their coffee, cookies with it, and the students come around and they deliver your coffee on Fridays. We also this year have a school store. We're calling it the HB's Great Habits Shop. It's open Tuesdays and Wednesdays. That's run by our 3 to 5 classroom. And they set up they have their rolling cart with all their items. They set out their items. They make their change. They count up the totals. And students are having a good time visiting the school store. Something new we tried in December, we did a principal Read-Alouds. So Mr. Gennaro and I created a calendar it sent it out to the staff, and they could sign up for times to have one of us come in and read aloud to their classroom. So many teachers signed up. It was great, so supportive. We were also joined by Mr. Karam, who came and was one of our principal readers, and he read to 6 classes in a row that day. It was highly successful. The staff loved it, so we're going to offer that again the month of February, and this time we were even able to get Mrs. Wallington to sign up and come on in and read to classes. So just getting into the classrooms reading. Might want to see if some more people want to come in and read, some head nodding. Great. Awesome.
And just a side note with the Read-Alouds, I read, there's a story of a character of Bruce, and Mrs. Byler's class was obsessed with it that they took every book out in the library. So it was a lot of fun. The next thing is the fun initiatives. So the 4th grade actually has glow parties, which they turn, if you see in the middle right there, there's, they basically have a black light, and they basically do different math activities in the black light. It's all lit up with different colors. It's a lot of fun, and literally all the kids are interacting in their own individual groups while the teacher's working at their individual tables. Another activity that we have going for fun was the 3D printer with Miss Latinville. I actually did this as well. The kindergartners made ornaments, Christmas ornaments, and they actually made me one as well, so it was really cool. And another incentive that we did was the gingerbread house incentive for the 6th graders who made good choices. So we actually had a pretty good turnout for that, so it was really nice. We had in the cafeteria. They were all, if you see it right in the middle, right at the bottom of where the words are, they were able to basically celebrate their doing the right thing and following our habits. And sorry, I have one more. Apologize for that. And the last, and this is the best, was the Beauty and the Beast play. I actually went with my son on Sunday to it, and it was just adorable. It featured 47 of our 4th and 5th graders. The kids did a fantastic job, and it was a good opportunity. And we actually were able to have the kids come for the first time, and other students who weren't a part of the play, to kind of see how the play all works. And we actually had some kids who wanted to do it next year, so it was really encouraging. So.
Another area we were able to bring back this year was our Pta Family Fun Nights. In September and October, we were able to hold them outside. So September, we had a carnival. Both our carnival and our trick-or-treat night in October brought in well over 100 people each, outside, socially distanced. And it was so nice to see people outside, enjoying time together, see the students playing and interacting beyond the school day. In December, we did a family bingo night. This was a registered prepaid event because of the limited seating. Each family was assigned a table in the cafeteria. Masks and social distancing were implemented. Each grade level donated a basket to be used as a prize at the end of the night. We played 10 games of bingo, and it was a huge success. We're actually talking about doing it again. It was a lot of fun. And I'm going to close with an initiative we have coming up. It's called Reading Together. This is something we're partnering with ASK to do. We have an amazing committee between the two schools of about 30 staff members that are planning this committee. What it is every elementary student in the district is going to get the same book, and they're going to be reading the same book at the same time. The committee chose the book Ways to Make Sunshine by voting. We're in the process now of creating a Google site for the program that will have a reading schedule and videos of staff members reading chapters so that the students can listen to the chapters. They can read 2 chapters in school each week with their classes, and then they have the book at home, so they're going to be reading with their families at home at night. If a student wants to reread a chapter, they can go onto the website and listen to one of our staff members reading the book. So it's involving families at home, it's involving us at school, and it's also something that we're doing together. So I'm so excited that ASK is doing this with us, and the National Honor Society is involved. They're going to be coming and doing some guest readings. They're going to help us wrapping the books for the students. So it's something that brand new that we're starting, and everybody's so excited about it. So I look forward to delivering more about that soon. And the books are here and ready to go. So I'm hoping that this becomes a yearly tradition for us. And that concludes. I just ended with a quote from our HB alma mater. It's the place that we call home. And thank you for taking this little short trip through our home with us.
Hi, everyone. We will keep it moving. Great stuff from our elementary. Great to hear all of the good things that are happening. We have some students here. We don't want to keep them out too late, so we'll keep it moving. This was our theme this year at the middle school, right? We believed in all these things that were happening. Some of us here like acronyms, so we made an acronym, right? And all of our points are touching on these things. And you heard a similar theme throughout. So these were our points of emphasis. Again, built on we believe that we can do all these things again. We believe in our kids, our staff, building outrageous relationships. And again, the middle school is the school on the list. So we're working our tails off to do the things that we have to do to get off. So I'll introduce my new assistant principal, Miss Eileen Cook.
You're good. So we're going to talk first about the B, which is bring it back. When we discussed this over the summer and we were talking about our themes, we wanted to bring back energy, enthusiasm, learning, vision. So those are kind of our overarching things we want to bring back. But these are actual literal things that we brought back into the building. The first one is that we brought back awesome in-person instruction. I can't tell you I wasn't at Port Jervis last year, but I do know what it's like to walk through empty halls. And to hear kids this year in the halls and see them, and they're having fun, they're loving their teachers, they're building relationships. It's amazing. I walk into one classroom and I'm watching a tree that's getting tapped because they're going to make maple syrup. I'm walking into a social studies classroom and they're doing a debate, or a math classroom and they've got like self-assessing stickers that the teacher knows just by what they're holding up if they're understanding the lesson or not. And I have to say too, this is my 3rd district working in, and I got to give kudos to Port Jervis for the relationship that's built between administrators and teachers. The fact that I can just walk into a classroom and that's a total normal thing, and it's not a fear of teachers, it really is amazing. It's not a culture that I came from, but it's an amazing thing to be part of that. So that for me was just, it's awesome to see. The other ones listed here, I'm going to run through pretty quick. We did talk to our staff because we are both new to the middle school, like what do we bring back? What things did you do before? One of the things that we can give special thanks to the efforts of Mrs. Len is the mindfulness room. We have a space in the middle school. It's a safe space for kids to go to. They can choose to go to. A teacher might send them to, and we have a staff member there that is trained to help them kind of get through if they're having a hard time at the moment. maybe they're frustrated about something, maybe they need to be de-escalated a little bit, whatever it is, the students go there, the staff member takes 10 to 15 minutes to kind of walk them through some steps, get them back, get them focused, and kind of send them back to class so that they're ready to learn. So again, kudos to Mrs. Glenn for that. We have Mrs. Heidelberg, who does character education. She puts out mini lessons to the students, little activities for them to do. There's posters all over. We have some of our different video clubs that have made videos for her. Our theme this month is mindfulness, so it works with the Mindful Room. We've brought back many after-school clubs and activities. I'm not going to list them all. David will be able to list a lot of those for us, I think. But, you know, we have newspaper club, gaming club. A lot of our brand new teachers are heavily involved in after-school activities. We brought back really a brand new chapter of French Honor Society. So we have National Junior Honor Society, and now we have the French National Junior Honor Society too. So there's tons of clubs, activities for the kids to participate in. Mrs. Rhoda and Mr. Drew are phenomenal. They do a badminton and dodgeball tournament. If you have never been to a middle school dodgeball tournament, I strongly advise you to come see one. It is intense, but it's awesome. And the kids, I mean, it is just a lot of fun. Actually, I was trying to give some of the kids pointers. They're not the best at dodgeball yet, but they're getting better. But it's very good to see. We started at the beginning of the year with Start Off on the Right Foot, which is an activity that the middle school had done in the past before COVID. It was outside, split up by grades. The grades had team building activities that they went through, so they were split up with the kids, and they had different activities that they rotated to try to get through a problem-solving piece, or maybe they were racing, but they had to figure out how to all do it together. So whatever it was, they had to learn to work together and cooperate together. And that really went, our whole staff was really involved in that. We wouldn't have gotten through it without them. But again, Miss Rhoda, Mr. Drew, and even Mr. Wilson did a lot on planning on that for that, so we appreciate it. We are bringing back our 8th grade trip to Washington, D.C., and our 8th grade trip to Dorney Park, thanks to Miss Medina and her countless hours with the 8th grade class, and Mr. Spears as well. So there's a lot that we are bringing back, and even more to come. Our next couple slides, you can sit and kind of read the background to these. So they're going to be our energy, involvement, and enthusiasm. And we have Mr. David White here, who is a 7th grader, who's going to talk a little bit about involvement, because David is really involved in a ton. He's got a student voice. He gives us his opinions, and he's wonderful. So we're going to give him the mic and let him take over and talk about involvement a little bit. All right, David?
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is David Wright, a 7th grader at Port Jervis Middle School. I'm here to talk about involvement. There are many ways to be involved, like clubs, sports, and even getting good grades. It's important to be involved so you have something else to do after school so you're not bored at home. So many kids are involved at the middle school, which is amazing. That's why at Port Jervis Middle School, we have over 15 different clubs to choose from, and also we can always make more. Thank you for allowing us to have so many clubs and activities and believing that involvement is important. I encourage all of our students to join our A club or activity because you will have so much fun at Port Jervis Middle School. Thank you for your time and have a good rest of your night. Go Port.
Nice job, David. So as you can see, we have a lot of enthusiasm as well with our students. They're very involved. If you read a couple of things on the background, like I said, I'm not going to read them all to you. We've done, Fall Spirit Week. We're looking to do a Winter Spirit Week. We're going to do a Spirit Week in the springtime. We've done an outdoor movie on Gwinnett, which was a nice success. The kids came out. It was wonderful. I brought my daughter to it. She had an absolute blast. Ms. Murata's daughter was there too. It's been a great time. We've done pumpkin carving with the kids. Just tons of activities. I can't even think of all of them off the top of my head, but if you read the background to it. So here's some pictures of different things going on. We've got Port Center there with Mr. Murata. If you see that on Facebook, where kids can kind of come in and shine. We got door decorating, honor roll breakfast, or that's actually student of the month breakfast. We had honor roll ice cream. Above, you'll see during the holiday, the teachers all decorated an envelope and kind of got little goodies in there each day to try to build staff morale and the students as well. So, got a lot of stuff going on. I'm going to hand it back to Mr. Murata here to talk about learning.
Thank you, Ms. Cook. David, I like the three-piece suit. Nice job.
Yeah.
So many of the things on there, right? But which one is the most important? Well, they're all important, but certainly the L for learning is. And like many of the programs we heard about at the elementary school, we also are doing them. The engagement and the classroom observations, you could see the training that has happened in that middle school with the learning targets, unpacking the learning targets, and the complete lessons that are happening. Again, we're new there. It is nice to see the teaching. Those are a number of the academic programs that we run. And again, the learning is very important. We're enjoying the classroom observations and getting to know the staff. The breaking the cycle thing was very important. It was a suicide awareness program. Very important. It was nice to be able to have that in person. Mr. Tim was there for that. So speaking of learning, well, speaking of student voice, we have another student here with us, but this is another one of our initiatives, is allowing students an avenue to voice their opinion in different ways. And we're doing a number of those things. That's Reagan O'Day. She's a 7th grader. Her father and her made that box. She decorated it in tech class, and that's in her hallway. So just another way of kids to do some things for us. But here's a student with an excellent voice. She is not afraid to speak. I'm very proud of Emma Farr. She is an 8th grader here with us to talk about encouragement. Thanks for being here, Emma. Ready?
Hi, my name is Emma Farr, and I'm an 8th grade student attending Port Jervis Middle School. I have been in this school district my whole life. I cannot emphasize enough the encouragement and enthusiasm I've come across anywhere in this school district, whether it is in school, sporting events, or extracurriculars. The teachers here never fail to provide you with the help you need with complete willingness. I was out on a leg injury October of this year, and 2 of my teachers instantly told me that they were going to put in a request to do my virtual learning with me. Having good, willing, and encouraging teachers makes learning not so bad, and Port Jervis does a good job with that. Every single morning over the announcements, you hear about all the activities that you can get involved in, and they are always open to anyone that is up for it. This type of awareness being available to students every day is super encouraging and useful when looking for ways to be an active learner in Port Jervis. I would also like to say how much we appreciate everyone on the board for believing in us and what we have to offer. Now I would like to encourage all of you by getting involved and showing some enthusiasm. How about 2 claps? Get your hands ready. Let's try that again. Get your hands ready. 2 claps. Thank you.
Way to go, Emma. Way to go. Little training there. Great job, students. You inspire us. You encourage us. We believe in you, and thanks for believing in us. Last thing I'll point out, we are doing an 8th grade step-up ceremony. Everyone will be invited. It'll be outdoors at the middle school in June. We're excited about that time. So we will now turn it over to the big house. Keep it moving, everybody. Keep it moving. Here they come. Thank you.
Actually, first of all, great job, David and Emma. Outstanding job presenting tonight. It's very difficult to do, and you did a wonderful job and had a great message. So thank you to each of you. So to the administrators and teachers that have gone so far, amazing job. Really appreciate you sharing the great things that are going on in the buildings. We are a little over an hour into this, and if it's okay with the board, I don't want any of these great things and all the time that the administrators and teachers put into these presentations to get lost. Would you want to put off the high school and PPS for next meeting? Keep it going? Keep it going. All right, on to the high school.
So Nick, I gotta tell you, Mike had Mr. Rydell. Sorry. My bad. I'm sorry. So Mr. Rydell had texted me and kind of asked me what I wanted to do, and I'm going to be honest with you, I'm really excited to be here tonight. So I said I'm really excited to be here, but I understood, and I didn't want to see it lost in the shuffle. But I do appreciate you allowing us to continue on. So. Hearing what everyone everyone said tonight, kind of reflecting over the 18 months prior to this school year, I couldn't, I'm stuck with what a difference a year makes. We know what last year looked like, right? We understand what the class looked at this time. But I want to talk about the classroom experience that I'm seeing today, what it looks like. And first off, I want to acknowledge the teachers, the faculty, the staff. When our students walked in the door in September, what that meant. And I can feel the energy, and I understood the possibility. Emily had mentioned, I'm sorry, not Emily, Irene mentioned being in this district and being able to walk into classrooms. I have taken that for granted. And so maybe I should apologize to the teachers because I just walk in and out of the classrooms all the time. And no one flinches, and it's been an awesome experience. And one of the first classrooms I walked into, I was watching this collaborative effort, right? This conversations happening, student voice, which I haven't seen in the past year. And these two groups are talking about gender, identity, artistry, and the influence, right? This is I'm coming out of the middle school, and I love the middle school, don't get me wrong, but this was an amazing conversation for me. Young lady turns across the room and goes, I'd like to piggyback on what you just said. And right there, I realized the possibilities of what that means in the school, right? Where we're going, the opportunities we have. So we want to capitalize on that environment, that energy, that community that's being built. So again, the first thing we want to do is meet students where they are. We understood, right? We're talking about good Tier 1 instruction. Everyone here was talking about MTSS tonight. It starts with that Tier 1 instruction. So it's about where students are ready to learn. And we're meeting them there. One of the things that didn't happen last year was that paper to pencil. And I understand we have all this tech, but that's still part of learning. Our math teachers, I walked right down the hall, and I got to see math teacher after math teacher taking on this, walking kids through problems and creating an environment where students are unafraid to ask questions. I watched Ms. Doherty's class have these collaborative competitions, right? The groups got together and they had to solve, I'm probably going to say this wrong, so Ms. Doherty, if you're watching, I apologize, but she was talking about conicals and formulas. I was an English teacher, right? So conicals and the formulas related to, so they're breaking this down, the kids are into it. This competition, this whole group, one group won, the whole class won this pizza, because for the first time in a decade, they all scored 100 on this quiz, which to me, though, says a lot considering we're talking about 18 months of what happened, and now for the first time in a decade, this entire class got 100 because of the effort and energy that was being put out. We do have a blend of technology and tradition. So coming out of the middle school, one of the things that I'm excited about to see, I walk into Mr. Lennon's room and he's doing a read-aloud, right? So we have this read-aloud happening where he's modeling what good reading looks like, right? Again, good Tier 1 instruction. I walk on down the hall and I see students working on the Common Lit app from the short story, The Necklace. And then further down the hall, and this is all just one stretch, right? The next stretch down the hall, students working on IXL, building their vocabulary. And IXL is a tremendous program because it meets, again, students at their level. So now in two ways we're able to meet students at their level because we have the experiences of the technology that we took away during the virtual learning, combined with all the skill set that people have garnered over all the years of experience. And we're talking a lot of years of experience. And then we have this opportunity with students taking lead. So we talk about that guided reading. I walk down the hall a little further, and the students are reading Romeo and Juliet in true Shakespearean fashion. We have a young man playing Juliet dead on the floor as Romeo pines over her. We have a young lady preparing a lesson to go out to, which I love being in, by the way, it's so nice to be in a building with another building, right? The opportunities just are there for us. So we have these young ladies and gentlemen preparing lessons as they read to the ASK kids. Our arts and tech program, by the way, I promised Mr. Rydell that I'm going to try and move through this. I said I trimmed it up, so I'm going to do my best, Mr. Rydell. But I am excited, so I don't want to talk too much about this slide, but I will talk about one thing that stands out for me, the robotics, right? I would like to, at some point, have my robotics team come out and show you what they're doing, if that's okay. They're excited to show you, but I just wanted to mention in the bottom right, you see the robot that we're working on for the February 19th competition. They placed well in their first competition in Orange County. It's amazing to watch. And again, these kids are super excited what they're doing, so it would be awesome to share that with you. And even at like the artwork, like it's so good to see that students are in the building taking advantage of this. And again, it's good tier 1 instruction. We have hands-on experiences. In this classroom you're seeing over there, a chopped competition, right? These kids make these tremendous cupcakes out of cornflakes, and I'm not quite sure, but it looked good. As all this is happening in the building, you all know what happened this weekend, right? That we had students up in the Adirondacks having this tremendous experience, led by, Mrs. Stankunis, Mr. Trotter, Mr. Heisiak. And while they were there, they went on 6-mile hikes across a frozen river. That's a lie, but they went on a 6-mile hike. So parents have Life 360, and some parents are freaking out because they see the kids walking across water. So they did walk across water. It was safe and frozen. So, and they had this. They went to this bird sanctuary. Just again, they came back super excited. They got to stay an extra night. Thank you, Mr. Rydell. But just again, another tremendous experience. And our music department's up and running. We're excited. Charlie Brown, you're a great man, Charlie Brown. Good man, Charlie Brown is coming March 18th to the 20th. Again, they already had live performances in the building, right? Another great experience. With all those positive experiences, right? We understand the challenges that these 18 months have laid upon us, right? We have a plan moving forward. Academically, I mentioned the good tier 1 instruction and what that looks like, but now we're talking tier 2 instruction. So we're working very hard with this on a secondary level, right? And as a district, in terms of developing strong tier 2 interventions, coming up with a tool set to identify students, meet them again where they're at, and address what their needs as they have them. Behaviorally, one of the things that we're working on, it's not just to be punitive, right? How do we focus on that restorative justice component? A simple, really basic example, right? We catch a student vaping. I know Mr. Harris, you had mentioned the ADAC program. We have been using that program. So we've had a number of students who even have come to us and hadn't been caught vaping, but they said, hey, we know you run this program. Just as an example of the type of work that we're focusing on, because again, it's not about punishment, it's about how do we restore and get students in the positive direction. All that in the backdrop is the SEL, that social emotional learning. We understand that behavior and academics are deeply influenced by mental health, and we want to support that. So I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Heidi Nyland, who's with me tonight, and she'll talk to us a little bit about that.
Good evening. Thank you for having us. As Mr. Lazaro pointed out, our instructional modalities have shifted over the past year, but student success certainly remains at the focal point. Equally as important in everyday instruction is our social emotional learning, and we are grateful that our entire high school community has embraced this. From the time the students walk in the morning, our staff is immediately taking the pulse. They're watching our students, even with their masks on, and alerting us immediately if they feel there's a particular buzz in the building or a student that might need us right away. So we are grateful that they are all involved with us. Our instructional staff incorporates Tier 1 emotional supports into their daily curriculum by utilizing mood meters, embedded SEL engagement strategies, and numerous optimistic closures. Our custodial staff is constantly moving about the building, cleaning and sanitizing so that our students feel safe and remain healthy. And I would like to point out that our nurse, Melissa Leeper, is doing an outstanding job, so we thank her and her expertise. We utilize a check-in connect system as a Tier 2 support, where students are asked who they would like to check in with throughout the day, and they've selected teachers, counselors, coaches, monitors, and clerks. This is a true tribute that our entire staff is actively involved in our students, their well-being, and their success. Our clubs and our activities have sponsored after-school wellness days to provide a place for our students to come and socialize in person. Here you can see our SAD organization is actively involved, and we have both staff and students participating in all of the fun. The Port Jervis Youth Coalition and Miss Grismer, as well as our community partners, Megan Robbins and Stevenson, sponsored Positivity Rocks, a new way to rock for the new year. They painted rocks and hid them around the building to promote kindness and positivity. We are happy that our calming room is finally up and running, and we've created a safe space for students who are experiencing some stress and need a moment to regroup. They can go in, they can draw, they can doodle, they can sit and just be mindful. big thank you to Mrs. Kamar, the counseling team, as well as Walmart and Matamoros, who made this all happen and created this great space for staff and students alike. Ms. Grismer and Ms. Lane have done a tremendous job promoting our character education program, similar to the other buildings. As you've seen, each month we have a trait and a color to go along with it. Wednesdays have become an additional Port Pride Day, where we celebrate that trait along with our students, and all of that can be seen wearing the colors and discussing the trait throughout the building. And they're also nominated for that particular trait throughout the month. We've had some fun activities as well. Our students were recognized at the Positive Incentive event commencing at the end of the first marking period. They were invited in what we call the triple play. They had to be passing all of their classes, no disciplinary infractions, and maintain good attendance. We had athletic events, academic events, and wellness activities offered, and those were sponsored by clubs, teams, and different staff members throughout the building. We're looking forward to our next pie event, hoping to get some pie this time to make it work. We had smart cookies, but we're trying to fix that. Our report cards are going to go out Friday, so we're going to plan that between winter sports and spring sports. Our BEP team has created the Pride of Port incentive program, where students have demonstrated various forms of port pride, and we recognize them as different departments are nominating them. Yesterday we recognized 18 students with cookies and cocoa, and they got to come down and celebrate with us. We would also like to take this opportunity to thank our community partners. Nicole James was here, as her daughter was one of the speakers tonight, so she had come in with her partner from M&T Bank, Dina Allen, to present on financial literacy to our freshman farm classes. It was so well received, and our students are still talking about it. This year we have a new group coming in. Staff Sergeant Jason Elia, along with Shelby Baker from the National Guard, have come in to discuss resiliency and communication, and they will be back with us again next week. The Youth Coalition invited back the Orange County's Power Against Tobacco and Catholic Charities during the lunch periods to hand out information surrounding the risks associated with vaping, and the students encouraged their peers to stop using if they were tobacco and nicotine. We also had Mary Alice Kovac back from ADAC, who teamed up with Stop DWI and visited all of our PE classes to promote their program, to talk to our students on how to help a friend if they suspect they may be vaping or using alcohol and drugs, and the students also gained valuable strategies to assist. Another great program that we are utilizing through ADAC is their program called Teen Intervene. Mr. Lazaro mentioned it briefly, and Mary Beth Terrell comes in once a week on Wednesdays to meet with individual students to continue that process on the risks associated with vaping. Our guidance team has been busy kicking off our scholarship workshop with both after school and evening workshops, and those will continue as we head into that season. And a few save the dates. We have our sophomore information night next Thursday, February 10th at 6 p.m., and that's going to be followed by the program Not One More. John Jones and his team are going to present at 7 o'clock, and that is invited to all Port Jervis families, of course, in the area, and that is to promote safe driving. I think most of you are aware of it. And then April 7th at 6 p.m., we have our junior information night, and following that, ADAC will be joining us, bringing back the popular program of the Hidden Mischief Room. And this is a recreated teen bedroom where guardians and parents can walk around to see if they can identify the signs and symbols of vaping, alcohol, and drug use. So we do hope to see you all there and invite all of our families to join us. And I'm going to bring it back to Mr. Lazaro.
Thank you, Ms. Nyland. So community service, Ms. Nyland was talking about community partners. Our students are also focused on giving back to the community, and we're tremendously proud of some of the things they've done. I'm not gonna necessarily speak about them, but here are some of the things that they're working on. What I want to point out is Passport for Good. So our students are recording all their community service, their extracurricular activities onto Passport for Good. What that is, it's an application that's provided by the district, It's a way for them to record all these activities, build a resume, build a college for their college application and beyond, because what's awesome about this program is when they're done and they leave Port Jervis, it's portable, it's theirs, right? We no longer monitor it, but they take it with them. And I remember, when I went to go get my first job, I had to go back and think about what did I do here? This gets them in the habit of doing that, and again, it carries something that carries with them. And as an aside, I just want to mention a plug, Geffen Quathon and the Athletes Helping Athletes. Geffen contacted me and said, I'd like to do something for the community. So we're putting together donations for the warming station in Port. Again, just proud, like kids coming up on this on their own. It's just tremendous, there's a heart that's shown in the community. Student Voice Committee, this is honestly, I know Mr. Murata had mentioned it, it's the workings of Dr. Walkowitz, Mr. Rydell, just some things that, roundtable discussions that came up that was super important, I had mentioned earlier. Well, the students said that every student has an adult in the building that they feel connected with, they feel comfortable with. That's tremendous that they can come to our school and feel that way. That speaks volumes about the people that we work here in the heart of the building. Also, they feel safe. They feel comfortable and connected to our school. That's tremendous in terms of, like, learning cannot happen until that happens, right? Going back to that SEL piece. Some topics that were covered, right? College visits. How do we give our students greater experiences to local colleges? Because we have access, right? Also, the elective offerings. We're looking closely at the elective offerings, and are they meeting the needs of our students? What are they interested in? So again, student voice. Finally, we're looking at how do we reimagine our building as we move forward in terms of learning. One thing I want to put in here, honestly, truthfully, I'm excited about because it came out of the middle school. We started it last year. It's called the Equals Movement. It's headed up by Ms. Shenkins, Ms. Mark. The idea is essentially celebrating a global society, celebrating diversity, taking on the challenges of social media, and how to put positive ideas and energy out there, right? So this is something that they'll be working on. I'm going to close with this. So, Mr. Tim, can I ask you to just play that? There's no sound. It's just a time lapse of 25 seconds, so I'm almost done. So basically, this project would, for me, symbolize the direction we're going to and the vision of the school. We had Alfred University come into the art rooms. They spent the day with us. They went to all of our art rooms. So the students had an opportunity to collaborate across classrooms. I think that's important. They had an opportunity to hear about a college. The college talked to them about what it takes to get there, about the process of being there. Then as they're doing this, they had an opportunity to, they're doing artwork. They're researching Dr. Martin Luther King. They're having these cross conversations about challenges of marginalized groups. On top of that, Alfred University had an opportunity to share with them the project that they're doing on empowering women and how art and community coexist and really influence one another. And finally, and this is the product that they produced over 5 classrooms that day. Again, this is just, the students just kind of sketched up little blocks, they pieced it all together. And for me, not only did it symbolize the direction and the vision of our school, but it's a reminder of, when we work together, what we can accomplish. So again, just excited about all that. So thank you really much. I really appreciate the fact that I get to go tonight. Thank you, Mr. Rydell. Thank you, group. And have a good night. So I'm going to hand it off to Miss Erica Wellington and DBS.
Good evening, I'm Erica Wellington. I'm the Director of People Personnel Services, and I have Mr. Justin Karam here, our Assistant Principal. We're really excited to close out tonight by telling you about all the great things we have going on in our special education programs and all the supports and trainings we were able to get up and running this year. So I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Karam, who's going to get us started.
So guys, as I was listening to my colleagues talk, I thought about this kind of joke, but I really mean it in a way, and I want to just say ditto to what a lot of my colleagues said, because at the PPS office, one of our goals is to sort of augment, support, and modify what all of our colleagues are doing. So we're going to highlight a few things tonight, but one of the greatest parts about being in this role is that I get to participate and engage with a lot of the things that the buildings are doing. So our first slide here is about professional development and support. One of our areas of focus this year has been sort of social emotional well-being of students. You heard that kind of in each of the different buildings' presentations, and we're no exception. The three areas that we've kind of been focusing on is our Handle with Care initiative, which is de-escalation, treating students with dignity, and helping students who are in crisis to de-escalate and return to program while still maintaining their dignity and kind of supporting them. It's a more supportive approach to that de-escalation process. The process for all of that has been that we did some training, a group of us, and we became turnkey trainers. At the last superintendent's conference day, me and a group of folks were able to train our aides and our monitors so that we have a building of capacity district-wide with this approach to helping students de-escalate when they're in crisis. So that's been one of our major initiatives. We also have been bringing in some behavior specialists to work with some of our new classrooms, as well as with just teachers, and also to help build capacity around our creation of functional behavioral assessments and behavioral intervention plans. So we're looking to sort of enhance what we're already doing with the support of those partners. Those partners have been really well received, and we've gotten requests to have them come back more often even than we had originally planned. So we're working to accommodate that request from different staff members. Last is we've been working with the Center for Discovery to create a system where we can offer some sort of music therapy, as well as enhancing musical access for our students with disabilities. So that's something we're really excited about and have been focusing on at the elementary level primarily right now. You guys have heard me talk already a little bit about Wilson Reading, so I'm going to give you the short version of this. We went through the data, and one of the needs that our special education students kind of have K-12 is we identified that reading was an area of need sort of district-wide for our special education students. So we convened a committee of professionals, very smart folks who came up with a rubric that we used to evaluate several different reading options. And the best one that we came up with was the Wilson Reading Program. And the reason we like it is it has a K-12 option that allows us to have consistent language and intervention across all grades and all buildings. So rather than having great things going on in pockets, we'll have something that, whether you're a kindergartner or a 12th grader in this district, if you need a reading intervention, the language is consistent and the intervention looks similar. So we think that that's going to result in a great strides in our reading areas, and we are hoping to see, even in the short term, great gains, and we'll hopefully have some data to share with you after year one implementation. With that, we are planning some virtual trainings as the year winds down, as well as trying to arrange for some in-person training over the summer so we can really hit the ground running when we get to the fall. And now I'll turn it back over to Erica.
This year we welcomed our new primary 812 classroom. It was really exciting. Our students have been working really hard on their behavior goals. The primary goals are around being safe, respectful, and responsible. All of our students have individual behavior goals and plans. Data is progress monitored, and the students are a part of that. So as you can see up here, this is just a sample of some of the data that we took on 2 students who have significantly decreased the frequency of some of their behaviors that were impacting their learning. So it's exciting to see that growth, and we want to continue to see that trend decrease. I want to just say thank you to Mrs. Harris, and I know she's sitting in the audience, our school psychologist, and Mrs. Muller. They've really been an instrumental part on collecting the data and helping support our classroom staff with those behavior goals. It's exciting also to see the growth in these students already. We have 2 students that are transitioning out to a less restrictive environment, and that's the goal of this program. So it's great to see that growth. In our upper 812 classroom, Mrs. Rodas, our 4th, 5th, and 6th grade students are working on increasing their independent skills in the 812, and they're working on skills to transition to the middle school. So we've seen tremendous growth in these students. Many of them are already transitioned out to less restrictive environments by the time they reach 6th grade. So just as an example, our student C up here came from an out-of-district placement at BoC's, transitioned to our 812 program. then transitioned to one of our special education 15-1 classrooms and is now in an integrated co-teach classroom and is doing great. And then student D and E, similar profiles, came from out-of-district placements, transitioned to our 812 classroom, and is now in our special class 15-1, ready to attend the middle school. So it's great to see all the growth that's happening. Our other program is our life skills program, which we have from K to 12, and at the elementary school we have Mrs. DeGroat's classroom, which is kindergarten, 1st and 2nd grade, and Mrs. Dennison's classroom, which is 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And now that we are back up and fully running, we have our coffee shop back up and running, which is great. It's every Friday morning. These students are an integral part of making this happen. And the great part is that they know their jobs. So if you stop in on a Friday morning in Mrs. DeGroat's classroom, you can see the kids checking out their job charts. They know where they're supposed to go, whether it's they're doing the thank you notes, or they're getting the cups ready, or they're counting out the coffees and the teas for the orders. And what they don't know is they're working on their IEP goals also while doing this. So it's a great opportunity for them. And then our school store also, that's spearheaded by Mrs. Dennison's classroom, our older students. They are stationed in the cafeteria. They know their products. They're working on their social communication skills with others. So please feel free to stop by if you like office supplies. I think we just got a new shipment of stress balls in. But it's really great to see them in action. And again, they're working on some of their goals in that classroom. I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Kerr.
All right, so I'm going to wrap this up as expediently as I can. I want to be respectful of everybody's time tonight, but we do have the secondary life skills program that we're kind of working on building capacity with. At the middle school level, right now we've got the coffee shop like you've heard about in the other buildings, that's being continued, but they've expanded opportunities at the middle school level, and they're doing things like growing culinary herbs as dried herbs and looking through agricultural lessons that way. They're building those skills while doing those same things that the elementary are doing, but focusing more on what those skills would look like in the job world as they move on. So those money skills become critical with the coffee shop, those interpersonal skills that Ms. Wallington mentioned. We're also looking at opportunities to do things like marketing. I saw an awesome video from the middle school where they actually created a promotional video for their coffee shop. I could not find it for you today, but I will bring that for the board to look at if you haven't seen it already. It's an excellent video, and it involved the whole class planning and executing, and they did a great job with it. So I do think you guys would enjoy that. It's only about a minute or two, and I'll find it. The last piece here is, I think we all know that the best way to enhance the educational opportunities is to partner with the community. We live in a community that is super supportive of our school district, and it's one of the things that I've loved about coming here. We have a list on here of different places that our kids have had an opportunity to go, intern at, or visit, or learn about. And we're looking to continue to grow those opportunities for our high school life skills students so that they have opportunities to get workplace learning and workplace experience as part of our educational program here at the high school. So with that, that's the last thing I have. And we want to thank you for the opportunity to present to all of you guys tonight.
Thank you to all of you who came out tonight. It was a wonderful presentation. I always say we have great stuff going inside our room, so it's nice to have it confirmed here. And thanks for your patience. It's been like getting a little bit late for some of you, but we appreciate it.
As we transition back to the meeting, since we have pretty much our whole administrative team here, first of all, I'm really glad we did get through all 5 presentations, so thank you, Mrs. Dunn, for forcing that. I just wanted to be respectful of everyone, including the administrators who put a lot of time into that. I just want to thank each and every one of you. That was a great presentation of trying to provide a snapshot of what's happening in our district, and the passion that was just shown over the past hour and a half, I think we all felt it. And so since our administrative team is here, I do want to publicly say to all of you, it is an absolute honor and a pleasure to work with each and every one of you. This is an incredible team, one that I never thought I would be so blessed to work with in my career. So just looking at each and every one of you, I just want to say thank you. Great job.
Okay, now we move on to the agenda. Next item, I believe, is consent items. Okay. These items include minutes from the January 11th, 2022 Board of Education regular meeting, minutes of the CPSE meetings from 1/6, 1/13, 1/14, and 1/19/22, minutes from the CSE meeting from 12/23, 21, 1/3, 1/4, 1/5, 1/6, 1/7, 1/10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 18, 19, 20, 21, and 1/24/22. Donation from the Great American Rival Series in the amount of $1,000 to the Athletic Department, and the Treasurer's Financial Report for December 2021. May I have a motion and a second to approve this item?
I'll move it.
I second. Bill Onfrey, second by Nancy Dunn. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Item number 7 is personnel employment items, and these include retirement instructional staff position 79, home and careers teacher. Retirement instructional staff position 80, social studies teacher. Retirement instructional staff position 178, elementary teacher. Retirement instructional staff position 248, elementary teacher. Retirement instructional staff position 290, special education teacher. Retirement support staff position 376, food service helper. Leave of absence, appointment instructional staff vacancy 2397, position 348, science teacher 712, leave replacement. Appointment instructional staff substitute teacher for the 21-22 school year. Appointment support staff vacancy 2392, position 1614, clerk typist. Appointment support staff vacancy 2393, position 578, payroll clerk. And amendment to board docs personnel agenda item from December 14th, 2021. May I have a motion and a second to approve this item, please?
I'll second.
Bill Harris, second by Kara. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Redo.
I just wanted to point, there's a lot in that section there, so I just wanted to just pause for a second and just recognize, today was actually the deadline for teachers to submit their intent to retire letter. So not everyone that we received made it onto tonight's agenda, but on here representing not only a lot of years of service in the field of education, specifically in the field of education in Port Jervis City School District, but just also an incredible amount of talent. Jane Accardi, Joe Accardi, Anthony Goff, Susan McDonald, and Thomas Riley, all are retiring teachers, and Thomas Castellonia, one of our staff members, also retiring. So I wanted to point that out. And I also wanted to point out that the individual that was just approved for payroll clerk is actually here tonight, and she's blending in with the administrators, but Rachel did not know that this was arguably the longest meeting of the year. And had I known she was coming, I would have told her. But super excited, Rachel. One of the things that really stood out in your amazing interview for the payroll clerk position was professionalism. And I do think that you being here tonight in an unsolicited manner also represents that professionalism. So yet another piece of evidence. We are very much looking forward to you joining us at district office in this very important role. So thanks for being here tonight. It does mean a lot.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is action items. For those of you that have your mask on, could you also raise your hand so that Krista knows how you voted? Thank you. So item 8A, Port Jervis High School senior class trip to Williamsburg, Virginia, May 19th to 22nd, 2022. May I have a motion and a second to bring this item to the floor, please? Flo? Second by Jason. Are there any questions on this one? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Item 8B, BCA Architects Professional Services Agreement. May I have a motion and a second to bring this item to the floor, please? Brian? Bill Onfrey, second. Are there any questions or comments about this one? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Item 8C, Appointment Lead Evaluator of Teachers for 21-22 school year. Matt Gennaro, may I have a motion and a second for this item, please? Jason?
Second.
Second by Brian. Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Item 8D is the 22-23 Port Jervis City School District student calendar. May I have a motion and a second for this item, please? Jason? Flo? Any questions or comments? All in favor? Anyone opposed?
Can I ask, the calendars we're getting are all, they're not, until the motion came out, they're not being corrected?
What do you mean?
So the ones that we get are
They're draft.
drafts.
Yeah.
Now we'll get another one sent.
We'll get a final calendar.
It won't be amended no more, or this is it?
Correct, so
We got
the,
another one, we got two of them. One from the last time and one from now, I think today.
Yeah, there was an update on today's because there was, the 1 month had one extra day counted.
Okay, and the other one that we had from, that came in that email. Okay.
yeah, so the draft that's stamped on the calendar is a draft because this would need to be approved by the Board of Education. So until such approval, it's in draft form. Once you approve it, then there's no changing it without us then drafting a change and bringing it to you for approval.
Debbie just reminded me what happened, there was one on the agenda, and then the amendment was made because it was a different date.
The 1 month had it 20 days or 21 or vice versa, I don't remember.
To explain that portion, so we originally were building the calendar using Google Sheets. And when Mrs. Lopez, who is incredibly talented at doing this, when she would then print it off, what was printing was not what was on the computer. Right. So the circles and the triangles that she adds to represent different types of days. So, and so in some cases they just dropped off. They just didn't print. Not only were they not centered, etc. So she then, so I think that was the one that you received was actually from Google Sheets. Right. And Mrs. Lopez, who is a perfectionist, decided to redo the calendar in Excel, which did not yield the same problem. So more of an explanation than you wanted, but that might explain why, if you look at the two versions, there may be some discrepancies.
Okay. Did we vote on that motion, Kirsten?
Yeah,
we did, when you asked the question afterward, okay.
We're on it.
Okay. Next item is 8E, it's a secret action middle school boiler replacement. I'm going to read the resolution and then it will be a roll call vote. Whereas the Port Jervis City School District Board of Education is proposing work to be performed at the middle school as an emergency project as declared by the Board of Education on October 25th, 2021, including replacement of an existing boiler with a new boiler project, and whereas the scope of the project is a routine activity of the district which qualifies as a Type 2 action as set forth in 6 NYCRR Part 617.5 of the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act, SECRA, and whereas the board has considered the information and documentation which describe the design and intent of the proposed project, now therefore it be resolved based upon the record before it, including the general, specific, and detailed knowledge of the board of the proposed project, and pursuant to the applicable standards of Article 8 of the New York State Environmental Conservation Law and 6 NYCRR Part 617.5 of SECRA, the Port Jervis City School District Board of Education does hereby determine that the proposed project is classified as a Type 2 action and accordingly will not have a significant impact on the environment. Okay, so this resolution was submitted and I'm hoping it will be adopted this evening. I need a motion and a second and then we'll do the roll call vote. Bill Harris? Second by Flo. Judy's absent. Brian?
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes.
Bill Harris?
Yes.
Jason Kamar?
Yes.
Bill Onifrey?
Yes.
Kara Rapp?
Yes.
Flo Santini?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. Okay, thank you. Item 8F is resolution for the rejection and rebid of certain capital project contracts. May I have a motion and a second on this item?
I'd like to make a motion that we table this item.
Okay, we have a motion to table by Bill Onifree. Do we have a second on that one?
I'll second that.
Second by Bill Harris. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That motion carries. So that item is tabled. Okay. Item 8G is resolutions of appointment for inspectors of election / alternates and voting machine custodians of the annual school board budget and election vote on May 17th, 2022. May I have a motion and a second for this item, please? Flo?
I'll second.
Second by Nancy. Any questions? All in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Item 8G is policy, second and final reading of policy numbers 2110, 2111, 2210, 2330, 3112, 3130, 3210, 3220, 3230, 3231, 3232, 3260, and 3282. May I have a motion and a second for this item, please? Jason? Second. Bill Harris. Any questions? All in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Okay, the next item is board member items. Board committee reports. Does anyone have any? Nancy, we have policy tomorrow, right? Yeah. We have policy tomorrow, so you'll get the minutes of the next meeting. Safety and wellness, there's a meeting coming up, right? Okay. Education has a meeting coming up, right? Okay. Anything else? Orange County School Board?
Orange County School Board meets tomorrow.
Tomorrow, okay. Anything else? Flo, Deer Park?
Coming up,
Okay. You have anything on Deer Park?
No, it's good.
It's good, okay. All right, board member comments. Kara?
I'll be brief. I just wanted to thank those who presented tonight. It's amazing to see what you're doing in the schools despite COVID. It was really a pleasure to watch, and I just want to congratulate all the retirees.
Thank you. Nancy?
I just wanted to congratulate all the retirees for all their hard work over the years. I wanted to say thank you to and recognize the school counselors, the social workers, the psychologists from every school. And thank you to the building principals for being so innovative and creative and for reaching and teaching our kids. I loved every presentation. They were really, really good. I particularly loved the students, and David and his three-piece suit were just too adorable. But I have sat through a lot of stuff since I've been on this board, and this was very enjoyable. A lot of this stuff is like, okay, let's get out of here. But that was so enjoyable because, like Mr. Rydell said, you could actually feel everyone's energy and how hard they worked and how creative they were. So that was not only fun but informative. So thank you so much.
Mr. Kmart.
I'll also be quick. Just going to echo everybody else. Congratulations to the retirees. Thank you everybody who presented. And I'm not opposed to echoing Nancy again when I'm getting out of here.
Mr. Dewey.
I'm going to sound like a broken record. The presentations were amazing. Thank you so much for all the hard work you put into all of them. And the retirees, we've got some people, some teachers and some other staff that have put a tremendous amount of years in here, and it's not going unnoticed. So thank you so much for your hard work.
Mr. Harris?
Yeah, I have a couple of things. First, again, the presenters, thank you so much. And I would be happy in my spare time, anyone that needs me to come, I will guest read for any of your buildings anytime. The idea of having the book tasting as a professional chef and a certified New York State food service director, I love the way that can fit right into the education system. Also, I had the pleasure of seeing both musicals that our elementary schools put on this month. And I just want to take my hat off to Mrs. Halpenny and Mrs. Taub for doing a spectacular job with Susical Jr. and Mrs. Prundle and Mrs. Valentine with Beauty and the Beast Jr. If you didn't see the show, you missed a fantastic journey. And the production staff the volunteer parents, the work they put into this, the students, the talent that was on those stages was just amazing. And I also want to thank our custodial staff for staying and helping and doing what they did. Everybody that came in and helped, but we're looking forward now to having our Guys and Dolls Junior at the middle school and You're a Good Man Charlie Brown at the high school, so we're looking forward to that. And congratulations and God bless all of our retirees for what they've done for us. Thank you.
Mrs. Santini.
And as I said, thank you everybody for what you've done. Very good tonight. I really enjoyed it. Mrs. Dunn,
yes.
Years past, not the past couple of years, but years past, when we did have the kids come and do their presentations or little skits and stuff, that's what it's about.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Wait till you start seeing that again. And, you know, it's just awesome because they get taught by the best.
Yeah.
And I thank you for that. And good luck to the retirees. I'm right behind you.
I'll echo everybody else's sentiments, and I will tell you that I've said it before, and I'll say it again, and I'll say it again, and I'll say it again. Port Jervis is a wonderful place, and these presentations tonight were nothing less than I would have expected out of all of you. It's a wonderful thing to say this is what we're here for. We're doing good things here. Let's just keep the momentum going, and we're all thrilled that everybody's back at school. So that being said, I have the dates to remember from February 2nd to March 1st. Friday, February 4th, secondary report card distribution number 2. It will be available online in School Tool. Thursday, February 10th, Not One More program for the sophomore and the sophomore information night, 6 p.m. here at the high school auditorium. Tuesday, February 15th is a budget workshop only. This is not a regular board meeting, and that'll be 6:00 p.m. in the Port Jervis High School Library. Tuesday, March 1st is the next Board of Education meeting and budget update at 7 p.m. here in the high school. As a reminder, if you wish to attend the next Board of Education meeting in person, please contact the district clerk at 845-858-3100. Extension 15511, or by email at klopez@pjschools.org, no later than 4 p.m. the day preceding the meeting, in this case February 28th. When contacting, please note whether to reserve time for you to address the board during our public comment portion of the meeting, and if so, the general topic of the comment. At this time, I'll entertain a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting. Jason, Flo, all in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, have a great